So just to fill you in, I'm a retired aerospace engineer to begin with, and now I'm a gun rights advocate. So, because I have nothing better to do. My husband, on the other hand, tells everyone that I'm a truck driver because I'm never home. I was at the fair this past week, and oh, by the way, I'm the chairman of the Republican Party of my county too, because I didn't like what they were doing about Second Amendment rights, so I got involved, and then I found out that it was, well, we'll just say it was a shit show. So the next thing I know, I'm running that too. But, so I'm there. My husband has told someone that I'm a truck driver, and that guy comes up and he's like, is the Second Amendment thing not working out for you? Did you really have to get a truck? Are you guys in trouble financially? All right, I mean, he believed my husband and the big lie that my husband told thinking it was fun, but okay. So Carrie Ann called me, and Carrie Ann is part of the DC project, as am I. And she said, would you come and speak? And I was like, sure. And then I thought, what am I gonna say? Because Massachusetts, I was here once, I don't know, 30 years ago maybe. And, but I talked to Charlie Cook a lot. When he said, after a while I kept him, I did. And so I'm now his conscience, and I prop him up and I poke at him, and we have big conversations about I live in free America and he doesn't. And the conversation starts with, you know, why don't you leave? And then I thought about it, and I've been thinking about it, and I've been talking to the gals from the DC Project again in New Jersey and in Connecticut, and it was like, wait, if you guys leave, if the really good people who really care, if they leave, who's left? What do we have? So instead, I'm going to say, and I can't sing, Carrie Ann can sing, I'm going to say, think about Jennifer Nettles and Sugar Land, and why don't you stay? Okay? Because there's some lines in that song, it has nothing to do with guns, but there's some lines that says, you know, we don't have to live this way. And that is exactly true. You guys right now are living in the belly of the beast. You guys have to draw the line, and you in Massachusetts, you in Connecticut, you guys are all trying to keep that away from the middle America, away from the people who, because, I don't even know how to say this, because there are states who are living freedom and living freedom well. And then there are states that they're going in and saying, I'm going to pick on you guys, and I'm going to pick on you, and I'm going to take you guys down. I'm going to take out Massachusetts, Connecticut, California, Hawaii, Colorado, New Jersey, New York. You know, you start looking at that. You know, if you're in the belly of the beast right now, because of Bruin, because in June of 2022, because of the words 1791, history, text, and tradition, the beast is losing. We are winning. The United States is winning. Patriots are winning. They just don't know it yet. The beast is starting to figure it out, and it's angry. It's in the corner, and it's gnashing its teeth, and it's flinging its tail, and it is salivating. It is extremely angry, and we've got it cornered, and it's fighting harder. So we can't walk away. We have to fight harder against it. How do you fight harder? Well, I just came from Tennessee. Jared's in Tennessee. Tennessee, the governor was friends with someone who was murdered in the Covenant school shooting. Friends. And because of that, the governor, in a predominantly Republican state, a Republican governor had a knee-jerk reaction and said, we need red flag laws, and we want them now, and we're going to call a special session to have them. And they were working on ramming it down the throats of the Tennesseans. So the DC Project showed up. The gun rights organization from the state showed up. The NRA showed up. The Second Amendment Foundation showed up. They were all there, and they were talking. And I talked to the Senate Majority Leader, and he said, this is deader than a doornail. They're going to go through these steps, but it's dead. January, we're going to have to look at it again, but right now it is dead. So that was great. But you see how quickly something like that can come and how fast you have to respond to be prepared for that. In February, I was down in Florida, and they were going after their constitutional carry bill. I had the pleasure of standing and doing testimony in Florida with and next to a 14-year-old girl who had gone with us the first time just because her dad was testifying. And so she sat there. And then she saw the students demanding action speaking. And she's like, that's a lie. That's not true. I could do better than that. So the next time we went back, she stood up and she testified. And the statement she said, because the Students Demand Action had gone up and said, you know, we need to have no guns in the schools, we need to have no guns in the states because I want to feel safe. And so May Tapino, remember that name because you are going to hear her in the Second Amendment world for a long time. May Tapino said, I don't just want to feel safe, I want to be safe. She said, I want to be safe, which means I want to know that when the alarms go off and bad things happen, that somebody's coming to save me, and that it's not Uvalde and I'm standing here waiting. I want to know that there are teachers who are armed and can come to my defense. She gave me goosebumps. She's 14 years old, and she cut to the chase, cut to the heart of the matter, which is her teachers, they are their own first responders. And as Jarrett said, when time matters, the police are minutes away. As well-intended and as well-meaning as they are, they can't get to you in time. They can't. The bad guy is bigger and stronger and faster. And so we've got to have something to level the playing field, and that's what we're fighting for. That is absolutely what we're fighting for. So right now, I mean, as Jim said, I am on the board of directors of the NRA, and so I'm a brand new freshman, so I'm learning the NRA way, and it's kind of cool. But I just wanted to say that as we talk about here belonging to your state rights organization, I'm going to tell you where I spend my money. I'm a life member of the NRA. I am a life member of the Second Amendment Foundation, and I am a life member of my state gun rights organization. And those are the groups who do the fighting for us, and they fight hard. So you guys have heard of Bruin, right? Do you know that the NRA funded Bruin? So it funds it through the state organization. So the things that happen here would happen with goal, starting with goal, working through goal, but there are other organizations who will come into the fray and help. But goal has to take the stand. Goal is taking the stand. You guys have to take the stand, and it looks like you're taking the stand. I want to urge you to be brave, because sometimes they're hard conversations where you're talking to somebody and you're like, I'm not sure they want to know what I think. Well, guess what? They're going to have to get to know what I think. That's just how it is. In Ohio, I vote with my concealed carry license. Do you know why I do that? I do it because I want the little old ladies who work the polling booths to know that this little old lady has a gun. I want to normalize gun ownership. I don't want it to be big bearded guys in plaid shirts. Jim, your shirt's not plaid. I checked first before I said that. But I want them to know that it could be their choir director. It could be their teacher. It could be the clerk at the store. It is everybody. When you start to, how many of you gals, are firearms instructors? How many were surprised the first time a lady came to you and said she wanted to take a class without having somebody else support her and prop her up and come with her? Were you not surprised? I'll remember my first lady, she was, what did she say she was? Is that she was having her 30th anniversary of her 39th birthday. And she was taking a concealed carry class for that. And then we were talking about holsters, because right now she keeps her gun at home in the swan by the flower arrangement on the front table. That just stuck with me. But you have to be brave. And I'm talking about bravery in a bunch of ways. Conversations. How many of you guys, do you know what Vice is, the TV show, the TV station Vice? Are they conservative? Right? Not at all. I got a call from Vice, and they were like, I understand you do concealed carry fashion shows. We'd like to film one. They wanted to do an hour-long documentary embedding themselves in the whole planning and coordination of a concealed carry fashion show. In effect, they wanted to follow me around for 3 months. And I'm like, this is Vice. Well, I did it. And the reason that I did it was some on faith, but predominantly because they reach an audience that I typically can't reach. So I said to the producer, I said, you know, in effect, I'm handing you my baby. This fashion show is something that I have worked on for the last dozen years. And I'm handing it to you, and I'm going to show it to you warts and all. I'm handing it to you, and you can either do it justice or you can kill it on camera. And I trust that you will give it a fair shake. And they did. You know, there were some little left pulls on it here and there, but on the whole, it was pretty fair. The thing that surprised me, though, is they wanted to come to my house because they wanted to film me sitting down at the kitchen table and some of that stuff, and I let them. And then they said, well, do you have any guns? Let's just say that they say that if you've got 17 or more guns, you're a super user. I've got a cape and everything. So I was like, okay, I'll go get a gun or two. And then they're like, no, we want to follow you out and film in your gun safe. No. We'll just start with no. I'll take one of you and no camera, and you can pick a couple guns and I'll take those to the table, but that was it. But in effect, it takes bravery. And as gun owners, sometimes it's not comfortable to talk about the fact that you have guns, that you are a patriot, that you stand for your Second Amendment rights. And it's just not comfortable because you don't quite know the audience. So step out of your comfort zone just a little bit. That's all I'm going to ask you on that. Jared talked about it, Holly talked about it, because Jared was like, he's crossing stuff out of his speech, and I'm like, yes, they're saying something else that I had on mind, right? I was like, okay, I guess my speech is somewhat on track. I'm going to say that it is not enough that you know your legislators. It really is not enough that you know them. Do they know you? Do they know your name? Do they know what you think? Do they know what's important to you? That's the level you want to have with your legislators. I'm going to say a few of mine go, oh no, here she is again. But on the whole, it's a very civil and responsible, reasonable conversation. But they know who I am and what I stand for and why I stand for it. If you want a little secret and you have somebody that is running for office that you think has potential and that it stands with the thoughts that you have, here's the trick. Contact them and say you'll walk door to door with them 10 times. You will give them 10 hours of your time. 10. And it doesn't sound like a lot. But 10 hours of your time walking door to door with them when they're going canvassing. At the end of that, you will have a relationship with them that will follow them for their entire career. They will know who you are, they will know what you stand for, and when they run into a gun bill, they will call you for your opinion. It is probably the best time ever invested in politics in any level, is getting involved that way. Going back to the Beast, you know the thing the Beast hasn't realized is that they sent us to law school. Because they have made it to where, how many of you guys know the word standing now in all this legal stuff, right? How many of you know what moot is, right? I mean, we start to look at this and it's like, I went to engineering school. I didn't want to go to law school. I don't want to know this stuff. But I know it now, and because I know it, I'm using it, I'm involved in it. You, the lawyer, you don't count. We'll just say, well, there. But it really is this thing where the Beast has made it to where we are cornered and we are fighting and we are not giving up. We are absolutely not giving up. So to go back to the Sugarland song, I can't take it any longer. My will is getting stronger. We don't have to live this way, so why don't you stay? Thank you.